says starting live, but I don't see. Oh, here we go. I don't know what's happening. What the heck? Facebook's being weird today. Oh, I think we're live. Let me check in the group.
Okay.
I think we are live. Yes, we are. Okay. Took me a minute to figure that out. It doesn't say on here. It's so weird. Anyways, it also isn't showing me the chats and stuff, so I'll have to be on my phone as well. So,
Okay.
hey everybody, this is Brandi. Thank you for joining us today, Brandi.
Sure.
I really appreciate you coming on. I just wanted to jump on and kind of have somebody who went through the core wound healing with the lilies healing, kind of like talk about their experience, because we do have another round coming up, and I know that a lot of people are probably like, what is this? Like, first let me ask you, when we first started talking about it, what were your thoughts on what that even was? Were you like scared about it, or?
I think initially the words wound and healing, that's like kind of got my ears perked up a little bit, because I've been through years of therapy, like weekly therapy, big therapies. Okay.
Yes.
And I've done so much work on myself, and I just didn't feel yet like I was in a place where I really was okay with stuff that's happening currently, stuff that's happened in my past. And so those two words, wound, healing, to me just seemed like, why not, and I've never really thought of my past trauma as a wound, but it truly is a wound. But I was a little honestly nervous about the time frame. I'm like, I just finished 3 years of weekly therapy and still feel a little bit broken. So in a week, how am I going to be able to do this in a week? But
Yeah.
spoiler alert, it works.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so here's the thing for everybody watching. I also have done core wound healing. I've gone through this before the Club Lilies thing, but now also as we go through with the Lilies, I'm doing the core wound healing as well. And I was also surprised. And it was like interesting to the fact of like, while I was going through it, I was like, yes, okay, these things are coming up, and yes, okay, they feel healed. But as time went on, I realized that more and more how much it actually did heal from that experience, which was so cool. So my first question for you would be or not even a question. Tell us your overall experience. Like, what was the experience like? What was it like being in a group with other lilies? Was it weird getting on Zoom every night? How was the experience as a whole for you?
Okay, so to begin with, the process of getting in the group and just feeling super welcomed, and like that was my place from the beginning, was beautiful and very organic. It didn't feel like I was just another number or just another client. It truly felt incredibly personal to me. Um, it was a time commitment, and being on the West Coast and most of the people were on the East Coast, so it was a little bit tricky for me to get my schedule banged out. But you all were just super kind and patient with that. But it was a little intimidating at first, because the first night y'all said, hey, we're gonna pair you up with somebody, and I was like, oh, no.
Right.
Please don't do that, and I really some personalities I just don't really click with, and I was really prayerful that I was going to get somebody that I really clicked with. And kind of like Monique says, like, the universe just puts you with the person who you're supposed to be with. And that could not have been more true in my case. The woman that I was paired up with, and I guess it's random, right? Like,
Yeah.
put our names in a hat or something. I don't know. But I was paired with a woman that I am not kidding. I talk to her every day still, and will continue to do so hopefully for the rest of my forever. She and her and I had very sort of similar wounds. And as we got to know each other even more, we realized that we have very parallel past. So it was a beautiful thing. Pardon me, they're breaking rocks off of my house. I don't know why. Um, so so that part, being kind of nervous about that, and then actually being paired with somebody who was really perfect for me was amazing. Um, and then the process begins of like meditating, finding that core wound. Well, I have a lot of them, and my partner kind of said, like, I don't know where to start. I have lots of wounds, right? But through this meditation process and through all of the guidance of you and Monique, of trying to find that thing that, and we have lots of core wounds, but you're asking us to just like find one. So I picked one, okay? And if I'm okay with sharing, can I share a tiny bit
Of course,
of
as
that?
long as you don't share about anybody else, you're always
No,
open
no,
to
no,
share.
just me. So my core wound was about my mom sort of putting me in a situation with my stepdad that was dangerous for me. He sexually abused me, and he did so for many years. So she didn't stand up for me when she needed to. And when it came time to it, I finally told somebody. I told my friend finally, after it had been going on for a year. My friend told her mom, as well she should have,
Mhm.
and it was a big to-do, right? It was a big thing. My family exploded, and my core wound that I kind of came back to, this moment that I think about often, which is kind of how I decided to tackle this one thing, was when my mom looked at me and she said, you will not press charges.
Mm.
You have ruined this family enough. If he actually did do this, it was probably your fault. You probably, and I was 14, and yeah, I looked cute. I was a 14-year-old, right? But she put that back on me. And so she didn't protect me in that time that she should have. So that was the wound I sort of tackled. So the process of coming to that it took a little bit. And the fact that this is fast paced made it so that I had to really focus, and I had to really sort of hunker down with my thoughts for a little bit and try to figure out what I wanted to talk about. So then it comes back around and you go through all these steps, right? So it's very, I'm a teacher, so it's very scaffolded in the approach of sort of getting to tackle this thing. And then you eventually write it all out, which was hard and sad and very therapeutic to get it on paper. And you sort of go through this process of really sitting with it for a minute, and really, I thought about it deeper in those couple days than I'd ever thought about it, in a way of like really thinking about the details about how I really felt, what was really happening in my house. Sort of wondering, what the hell was my mom thinking, right? Because I'm a mom now, and I just I'll probably never understand. But so then you're kind of sat with this for a minute when you're writing it out and really kind of dissecting through it. But then you get to go to the next thing, where you pull out what are the truths and what are the lies of this. And I tend to tell myself a lot of lies, and that's just, I think, from how I grew up. And I never had somebody to talk me out of the lies that I was telling myself. And that was the healing part for me. I mean, yes, it all comes full circle, but where I got to sit down and kind of pick apart my story a little bit, this one event that shaped me, truly shaped kind of the human that I am, and got to pick apart, like, what about this story is truth, like fact, and what part is my mom in my head and the things I've told myself over the years in my head. And it was just an incredible process. And to be able to do it with a group of women who I didn't know from Adam or Eve from the beginning. But I mean, we still all every day there's this big group chat. It's kind of like it truly creates a sisterhood.
Yeah.
It truly creates this incredible sisterhood of people that I know, that I can go to and talk to and share jokes with. I mean, it's really incredible.
Yeah.
The process and the bond that is created over the process of the week.
Which
It's
is
magical.
so amazing, just because that's where the whole idea of Club Lilies even came from, was to create, I mean, I didn't know it at the time, but to create like this sisterhood where people, could connect in that level. And I think most people, this is why my podcast is called The Stories We Tell, because most
Mm-hmm.
people tell themselves stories, right? And
Yeah.
unless we like are going through this like journey of growth where we look back and reflect on those things, people typically might live their whole life believing the stories that they're telling themselves. And
Yeah.
so it's so powerful to be able to like reflect, and even if you're in that space where you're not able to take yourself outside of the story, to have that support to be like, kind of poke you and be like, is this true? Because
Yeah.
you feel like it's true, but this is what we're seeing, or
Mm-hmm.
it's so cool. Like, just the so talk about the group a little bit more, just with the other Lilies. So do you feel like you met friends for life from the group?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And so many of them sort of um they cheer you on. We have this big old group chat now of, I don't know how many women were in there, Jamie. 20, 15, I don't know.
I think like
Uh
18 or 19, yeah.
yeah, what's happening now is as we get more and more comfortable with one another, because you're only sort of one-on-one with one human, who is my soul sister for life, like, for real. Is you get to know these women a little bit more, because now we are feeling more comfortable with one another, and we're opening up a little bit more about our story, or struggles that we're having now, or things that are coming up since we've closed this core wound, right? So it's just, at this point, it's a big cheering section that I know that I could go to these 19 other women and say, I am hurting today, I'm struggling, I'm telling myself the lies again, please. And there's going to be 20 women in seconds telling me that is a lie, that is not true, you are amazing, you have done the work, you did it, remember where we came from, so it's having somebody that's got your back. And um, not just one person, who is my soul sister, who I know I can tell anything to, um, but I have these 19 other women who I know I could knock on any of their doors and they're going to let me in and have coffee with me and let me cry or laugh or both at the same time. So
And with no
just
judgment, no judgment
no
whatsoever.
judgment. No, because we all come to the table with garbage, right? We all come to the table with a lifetime of crap that we've
Yes.
packed around, and we've tried to make sense of it, and we've tried to do the work on our own, and we've read the books, and we've done the journaling, but somehow these pieces are still, they're like cobwebs, and like sometimes you're walking through life and there's no cobwebs, but then other times in your life you're walking through and you're like, crap, when was the last time somebody dusted? It just feels so good to get the cobwebs out of the way, and you just see so much more clearly. I do anyway. I'm seeing much more clearly. I'm looking at situations now that come up currently, so that I'm not packing around these lies for another 10 years. If
Mm.
something comes up right now in a relationship that I'm in, I suddenly have the courage to say, hang on a sec, this isn't sitting quite right with me, because I know my lies and my truth now.
Right.
And
Oh,
it's very transformational. I mean, uh, I'm 46. Like I said, I've done a lot of work on myself. um, this it blows my mind how effective and just, I don't know, strong is the word. I don't even know how to put it into words, Jamie. I'm sorry, but
That's okay. I like it. I'm speechless.
speechless.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that anyone listening can tell just it was just a very I can't think of the words either. Just an experience, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Um, and I love that we're doing it together as Club Lilies. Like that's the part that makes me especially happy. Because doing things alone, that's great. I think a lot of us have been working personal growth alone. But when you have people in your corner and you can go through that experience together, it's just that much more, everything.
Yeah.
Impact and
And
dance
with
impact.
with the group of lilies, you know, with this group in particular, I found the lilies on TikTok like everybody else did, joined the group on Facebook like everybody else did. Um, but there's something about us uh, that I don't know. It's a little bit more of a bond. It made me feel a little bit more comfortable because I know that I've lived this life up till this point a certain way, just like the rest
Yeah.
of these women did, right? But then I saw the light, and now I'm living my life this other certain kind of way, and that's just kind of an additional. I felt like it was an additional bond. Like we just had right off the bat already one really, really gigantic thing in common. Because coming out late in life is no joke, right? Like it's seriously no joke. And so just to have that in common in the beginning, it felt like there was even more of a bond, or like there was already a bond there before we even started because of where we've all come from.
Yeah. And the fact that, like um it's not a free thing. So you all invested. You decided to make
Yes,
the decision to invest in yourselves, and you get to do that together with people who not I say like-minded, but it's so much more than like-minded. Like this is a big the way that we're all connecting, and I say we, but I'm not later. I didn't come out later in life, but even if like the way that we're connecting, it's exciting for me because I kind of am stifled by the word, and this doesn't have so much to do with the healing experience, but more so the name Club Lilies, which I was thinking about the other day. I think so often, when people join the group, one of their concerns is like they'll write about, to get into the group, they'll write about what they're thinking. They're like, oh, I think I'm just late for the game. I think I missed the boat. I think it's too late for me. And part of what we're doing here and with healing is like we're stepping into like we're babies in the sense of we're stepping into the next playing field of life. Like you're not late to anything until you're
right,
6 feet under. And do we want to
right.
experience this next piece of life um, unhealed or coming from a healed space so we can just be that much better, have that much more of a incredible experience on
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm so, I'm kind of a believer in everything happens right on time, right? And so I was at a point in my life where um, I hadn't really given up on therapy, but I just felt like I'd done enough, like when you start predicting what your therapist is going to say. So, like,
Yeah.
okay, I said this, now you're going to say that, and then we're going to say this. This
Right.
was an experience that um, came into my life right at a time when I needed it the most. Um, and I'm so incredibly grateful to the universe that this came up when it did, that I was able to invest in it when I did. And it's not just for me, there's two levels, and you can, right, is that still the thing for the next session where you can
Yes.
do just the week or do the extra coaching?
Yes.
I was like, I'm all in because I believe in it and I'm doing it. And the great thing too about it is, once you have the keys, you have the keys.
Right.
Um, so my partner went ahead and did her next wound, and I'm going to start working on my next wound. I meditated on it and finally got to the point where I'm like, I got to heal up this church wound, because when I came out, everybody left me. I was very involved in the church, and not a single church person when I left my ex came to walk through it with me. I walked through it alone.
Yeah.
And so to have this group of women now who I can truly call my sisters, and I know now that no
Yeah.
matter what, they're not going to leave me. You know, they know my junk. They love me unconditionally. Uh, so it was really for me very timely, and I feel kind of full again. I've got sisters in my life again, which is really amazing and good.
It's all unfolding perfectly. That's in the words
Yeah,
of my mentor. It's all unfolding perfectly. Nothing is late. Nothing is early. It's all unfolding perfectly. And I do
yeah,
believe in divine timing of things and things
hmm,
coming into our lives exactly when they should.
yeah,
Well, thank you so much for sharing. We're going to continue sharing this week. Hopefully, other lilies who had the experience want to share, just so people know, you know, is this something I want to do? Is this worth it? Is this worth the investment? I know spending money on things like this can be scary. Just like, am I really going to
yeah,
do it? Or is this really going to,
yeah,
So thank you so much for sharing your experience. I know it's a personal one, and
yeah.
you want to share with Club Lilies before we sign off?
I would say yes, it's kind of a scary investment, and I was a little nervous about just being a week, but truly it was worth the investment in myself and the group, and you take from it what you put in it. So be ready to put some stuff into it and be prepared to get a lot out of it. So
Yes,
I just say if you're thinking about it, go for it. You have
awesome.
nothing to lose. Go for it.
Well, thank you again. I appreciate your openness with everyone. And if you are interested in joining us for the next round, I am going to drop a link in the comments, or actually, I'll just edit the whatever I named this, and I'll put the link there. But we will be back, and if you have any questions, let us know. All right. All right. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.